So I'm sitting here with Mr. John. He's written 14,700 and change in the month of November 2022, strictly through door knocking face to face. And we've got a great interview today. We're going to talk about how John made his transition from a captive final expense agency to independent, why he prefers absolutely selling face to face than over the phone, his experience with that, and just generally his strategies to get in the door to help you guys convert more of your leads. My name is David Duford. I own Duford Insurance Group. We recruit and train agents to sell final expense Medicare annuities and ACA. If you'd like to check out more, go to davidduford.com/FAQ. Mr. John, how you doing today?
Wonderful. How are you, sir?
First of all, thank you for your time, just setting aside, being willing to kind of talk about your experience. Let's start from the top. Tell us about yourself, how you got into final expense, kind of the beginnings of your career.
Well, I spent in total 26 years in the car business. Started as, wash boy washing cars, worked my way up to general manager. It's been 26 years doing that. My one position as general manager at a Ford store went south. That day I got called by somebody that worked for a final expense insurance company and said, "Hey, this is what you need to do." So I went and did it. I did it for 6 months. Okay. And it didn't go well and started to hit the panic button. So I started that and it was June or July. And that January, I made a phone call to a buddy of mine at a Toyota dealer. And I said, "Hey, I need to do something." So he said, "All right, see you Monday." Jumped back into the car business for 2 years. And then as usual with the car business, it goes south. So then I leave there on a Saturday, called a good friend of mine, a different friend of mine in the same final expense company. Next thing you know, they're reappointing me to the company. And that was about 3 years ago. And the rest is history. Came back in, started writing, and that takes us to today.
I'm curious. So you kind of had an entry story that kind of pittered out, didn't do very well, and you kind of came back and then went strong. I'm curious. First of all, what was the difference the second time around that you felt that gave you that edge of success that you didn't get in the beginning?
The first time around, because it was brand new. It was something I didn't know, and the car business being in it so long, any question or anything I could answer immediately without even having to think about it. And I had that comfort level. And coming into this, I didn't speak the language. I didn't know how to talk to the people regarding, final expense or insurance. It was completely new. It was difficult. The transition was difficult. I was figuring it out on my own. Bills needed paid and all that kind of stuff, the stress. And, when you go out to a door and you have that financial burden on your shoulders and you start talking to a client, they say, quote unquote, commission breath. It is. It's real. And when you're worried about money, you're guaranteed to make none, and then you worry more, and it's a snowball effect. So the second time I came back, when I returned, I already had that foundation that we laid. Even though it was a bad foundation, it was still a good foundation because it was there. And then I just came back. My mindset was a little bit different, and I just hit it gangbusters and never looked back.
Kind of got dialed in second time around. This sounds like right about when coronavirus and the shutdown started. Is that correct?
Yeah, I was 2 months in the field, then we got shut down.
Oh, wow. So it's like perfect time to start.
It was 2 months to the day, actually.
So now take us kind of fast forward. You had been with this captive company, but things had changed and you started kind of re-envisioning where you stood and wanted to go the independent route. Can you kind of take us through what caused you to make that decision to look outside of the captive arrangement that you're in?
Yeah, I was with a captive company for a while, almost 3 years. Probably a year and a half, 2 years into is when I started to think that there is more out there, that being a one-trick pony, so to speak, isn't the end-all be-all answer. And there's all these different insurance companies, all these different carriers. There's all these different products that are available, from mortgage protection to annuities to Medicare supplements, Medicare Advantage. I mean, there's so many things available out there, yet I'm only allowed to do this one product with one company. So I get a lead, I go into a client's house, and this is what I have. If that doesn't work, that's it. I'm done. Instead of, oh, that didn't work. Well, let me check my 14 other carriers, or let me pick the best carrier that's good for you, or this is option B, C, or D. By the way, who do you have for Medicare insurance, and set a new appointment for that, because you can't do that together. And it just started me thinking about it. And then I started looking into it more. I started watching, listening to more people speak. And actually I started listening to you speak, because when I started, I had a lot of keyboard warrior time on YouTube. Information, and what is out there and different ways to do it. I learned these big carriers, like Prosperity, Transamerica, Mutual of Omaha, these big carriers out there. You can't just call up the contracting department at Transamerica and say, hey, can you send me a contract? It doesn't work that way. You have to have the segue into them through an IMO or something of the like. It was not an easy decision because the people that I did work with at this other company, no joke, it was me, my peers, my upline, my upline's upline, my upline's upline. There's a 4-level chain of command that I have known and worked with and been friends with for over 20 years. So going to work there was very comfortable because I could call them and I don't have to worry about how I talk to them or we were on that level and there was a history, but leaving there was a very big decision. And the biggest concerns were, how's it going to go over with them? Okay. Which I wasn't 100% accurate on my prediction of that one. Number 2 was, all the horror stories I hear about these other companies, how their underwriting departments will shut down applications. No one's going to get approved. You're going to write 10 apps, only 2's going to go through. It takes 2-3 weeks to everything, all that kind of stuff. And then number 3, where am I going to get my leads? Are the leads going to be good? Or are they going to be crap? Are they going to be recycled to 10 different people hit the same house 3 days before I did? Am I walking into a doo-doo storm to keep it clean for the kids they're listening? I didn't know what it was going to be. And at some point, you just have to say the hell with it. You either just got to stop thinking about it or you got to go. And I went.
You bring up some really good points. And the concern is valid, right? There's an old saying, here in the South, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And when you got leads, you got a system that works. And even though there's some weaknesses to it, it's like, well, it's good enough. Right? Even though you may see there's some weaknesses. And a lot of people that probably would move or make a change that feel the urgency to, it's not quite there because of those fears. So I'm curious, in your transition now to where you do have multiple products, you are selling different companies, you are an independent agent now. What's the reality then of those fears? We're talking about, approval rates, leads, the things that maybe that captive agents fear. Has that proven to be the standpoint or has it been something totally different?
Totally different. They are nothing more than just fears. I'm actually going to reference your shirt because fear is the mind killer. And that's all it is fear. It's fear of the unknown, fear of what you've been told. Looking back, I think it was just things that were told to possibly dissuade people from looking down that path to become an independent agent and to stay where they were, which, hey, I made good money there. They treated me very well. The company was top shelf with customer service and 0 complaints. It's just the direction I wanted to go for the future for myself, my career, and my family just wasn't the right fit. That's what it was. But to your point of the fears about underwriting declining everything, no, that is not the case at all. Every single application. Now, not every applicant's going to get approved for level coverage at the lowest rate. There's health conditions and there is a learning curve as to what carriers are best for insulin-dependent diabetics, what carriers are best for chronic or oxygen use daily. Okay, my client takes Eliquis, but it's for AFib. It's not for heart condition. You have to go down those paths to find the right coverage. But there has never been an instance where I have written an application for a client and I was done, had them sign up, and I left the house and found out later that they were declined. That has not happened once. Most of these carriers, either while you're completing the application or immediately within 2 to 3 minutes after it's submitted, you have an underwriting decision. So that is not the case. As far as leads go, I did a lot of research into some different lead companies. I looked into 4 of the big ones. I don't know if we want to get into names of them now or not. I looked into 4 of them and I made a decision to go to this really cool one with sunglasses. We'll just say that. Made a decision to go with them. And the first lead batch I ordered, I made a mistake. And the mistake I made is I ordered within a 25-mile radius of my home and didn't look at a map to see what that 25-mile radius included. Because I know me, I do not write in urban areas. I have to be in the country. There's a saying I live by, I need cows and guns, and those are my clients. So it went okay. But then the second lead batch I ordered, I doubled my throughput on the leads, and then I changed it, moved my zip code further north. And that lead batch, I took 40 leads and I wrote 16 out of them. You do the math on all that. The leads are top shelf. They come in, boom. I have different autoresponders that I hit them with. We can go through that whole process if you want. But the leads are good. The bottom line is higher contract percentage is real. And these are all the fears that I have that I know everybody else has. The leads are quality. quality. They are exclusive. You don't have any crap with them. The carriers are top shelf. They do approve them. You know what's going on in the beginning. You know, they have safeguards in place to make sure your NTOs are next to zero. Everything is good. It is a decision that I don't want to say I wish I never would have worked for the other company, because that's not true, but it's probably a decision I wish I would have made sooner than later. That the fears that I was inhibiting of doing this were just fears. They were false. There's no truth to any of it.
False evidence appearing real, right? Fear, right? And I appreciate you saying that, because again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's the mentality a lot of people have. They'll play the game, they'll get by even though they're not happy, but those fears keep them at bay. It's good that you've shared that the transition's not nearly, it's the same people you're selling, same people, right? I mean, same final expense people. Nothing really has changed. It's just different carriers at better commissions with better underwriting.
I mean, I relate everything to cars because I'm a car nerd. Okay. If you're leasing an Altima and you're spending $350 a month, okay, it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Great car, runs forever, affordable payment, ain't broke, don't fix it, don't make a change. But then you start looking, you start reading ads, you start calling dealerships and do all that. And all of a sudden you find out, wait a second, they got a special lease program on a Lexus I can get for $325. If you don't do your due diligence, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's all well and good, but you don't know the better world that's available out there to you unless you take two steps back, open your eyes, and look at it. It opened up my eyes and my jaw hit the floor.
Do you feel like at this point you're writing more business, and do you feel like you're getting more better, as we said earlier, more better coverage for our clients as far as first day full coverage than had you were previously with just one company?
As far as writing more business, I mean, this November was my test month because October was getting everything set up. So November, this is literally my first 3 weeks as an independent agent, and I'm at 14.7 and change. Am I writing more now? No. Am I going to be? Absolutely. There's no two ways about it. I am going to be writing more. And as far as the quality coverage for the clients, it is a no-brainer. Yes. 100% no-brainer across the board. Even the people I've written guaranteed issue, their premium's 50% of what it would have been before. No-brainer. I'm getting people more coverage for less money, and I'm getting people same day coverage more than I ever thought was possible. So if I have somebody at 65 years old, they're taking Eliquis, but it's for AFib, I can still write them level and write them same day coverage. So the options are there, and it is beneficial for the clients. They are getting better coverage, better rate.
And that's what it's about, right? At the end of the day, we do our job better. I think that's what it comes to.
You write them same day coverage on the lowest premium that's available. How can somebody come behind you, and replace it?
So as we wrap this up, I want to hit on your strategy. So of actually getting these sales, you're a face-to-face guy. Interestingly enough, you had done telesales, but went back to face-to-face, I think. Can you explain why you did that and what you think the advantages of selling face-to-face are over telesales?
Yeah, I've done telesales on 3 different occasions. I found success with it. I think my best month ever with telesales was like 15, 16 grand, something like that. But the difference is, I mean, number one, there's so many solicitations and stuff going on there. People inherently do not like to answer their phone. I mean, usually to get them to answer, you got to at least double or triple dial them. You get them on the phone on the triple dial, they answer the phone with an attitude to begin with. They're like, what the hell do you want? Which is fine. And then you get your point across. They don't meet you. They can't see your face. It's harder to build rapport over the phone. It's easier for a client to hit the big red button and hang up on you and then ignore your calls. It's just there's a gap in the rapport building and a gap in the relationship with the client. Now, that being said, can it be done and are people being successful with it? Absolutely there is. There's tons of them. They never leave their home or office and they're rating $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 a month. It's there. Me, it's not. I go out into the field. I knock on someone's door. I drive a full-size truck in the field. Okay. And I mean, I burn through a lot of gas, but there's a reason I do it. I work in the country. I pull in. I'd say 6 out of 10 houses, the guy or the husband looks out the window and goes, "Hey man, nice truck." And then we talk trucks. It's building rapport. And the big thing is the face-to-face, the interaction, the personality. And honestly, when you're doing face-to-face, the number one key component in face-to-face is your door knock. If your door knock is not 100% perfect, you are dead in the water. that door knock, relationship, people make a commitment to buy within the first 10 or 15 seconds of meeting somebody. That is your door knock. So that is the most important thing. And actually, in the previous company I was with, I worked on that for a while, and I actually wrote the door knock that our group uses on percentage wise. If the lead is home, it's 85-90% you get in the door.
Give us a couple of like big tips to do better at the door to convert more of those approaches into presentations.
It all boils down to confidence. That is the key root among everything. The confidence in yourself, the confidence that, yes, the client did send that request in, and I didn't do that. Well, yeah, you did. So nice try. I mean, there's more we can go into that, but just confidence and the door knock, it has to be right on the money. You have to tell them why you're there. You have to tell them what they did, and you have to get them to laugh. You have to get them to laugh. It is psychologically an impossibility for someone to be genuinely upset and apprehensive and genuinely laugh at the exact same time. So what I tell people, part of my door knock is I said, listen, I'm out here. There's so much fraud going on in the world. I'm here to make sure you're a real person. And then they always laugh and go, yeah. I said, are you sure? Do we need to check with the cat or the dog? Do we need to check with somebody? Are you sure you're with? Yeah, I'm real. Okay. And then I just keep going from there. So confidence. Confidence.
So it's more about how you say things and present yourself than necessarily what you say. I'm sure it's important what you say.
Both. It's definitely you got to say the right things, but very importantly is how you say it. The pauses that you have, they can't be too long, they can't be too short. Your face, what it looks like, your voice fluctuation, your body chemistry and everything, it all has to be on point to convey the message correctly.
Well, John, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you very much for taking some time here to go through. You're standing right in front of my camera, Dave.
Come on, Dave.
This is what happens when you work at home. Just come in and out as you please,
I said, it's okay, Dave. We'll let it go this time.
This time. Right. There's always next time. So, all right, John, thank you very much. Appreciate you, man.